Hey, I hope you all are well. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I am Tish and today I am back talking about my new build home and my DIY projects that I've been working on, plus plans for upcoming projects as well as plans for the rest of this year. I hope that this video will give you inspiration for updates to do in your home for a refresh. If you've been with me for a while, then you know that this past June I just bought a new build home. If you haven't been with me for a while or this is your first video, I will have that whole playlist of my moving journey, showing you the whole process, discussing the whole process, showing you my empty home tour. That link will be down below in the description box to make sure that you check out those videos after watching this one. Although I was able to pick and choose most of the finishes for my home, it was still based on the builder's limited options as they normally build and sell their homes as spec homes. I couldn't change the paint color or finish, for an example. Like, that was one option only, and that's what you get. So because of that, there are updates. You may be asking, you just built a new home, it's a brand new home, why are you doing all of this to your house? Well, because of those limitations that I had, I have a lot of updates that I want to do as well as what I've already done. Let's start off with what I've already done to the home. We're going to go to the front porch first, just because that is the first thing you see when you enter or even look at my home. So in the front porch, the only major change that I made was adding the kick plate to our door, which is an inexpensive way to give your door a richer look and an instant facelift. Moving on, I would love to change out that door because I do want a door with windows to brighten up the entryway. Decor wise, on the front porch, I added a pair of rocking chairs, an end table, 2 blankets that I actually had on my back patio at my old house, along with 2 outdoor pillows. These, along with the black and white doormat and my fig trees, are staples that will stay there the whole year. Seasonally, I like to change out my core rug as well as my wreaths, and then adding seeds of new greenery and plants to just liven up the space, and that will match that season. So coming into the home, the first full room that I tackled was the guest bathroom. So far, it's the only room that's been completely repainted. In this space, I changed out the chrome hardware and switched it to matte black. That included the cabinet knobs and the toilet paper holder. I also changed out the light fixture and faucet and added some towel bars. So in this space, I stuck with a black and white theme to keep it simple and timeless. The next space I'm going to talk about, as you can see with my face, is my daughter's bedroom, so Kylie's room. It is in the midst of getting a big girl makeover as she is about to turn 2 years old. So I wanted to transform her room into a big girl space, but we're keeping it simple with the upgrades in there. So far, I've installed a feature wall with a herringbone design on it. I will do a complete video to showcase her room. So once it's all done, I will share that with you. For now, I'm just going to give you little sneak peeks. I also added a library arch wall detail in there as well. She loves reading, so I wanted to make sure that we had a space in her room for her book. The theme for her room is an enchanted cottage in the woods, like the inside of the cottage, not the woods part of the cottage. So there are going to be some small whimsical touches, but I wanted to make sure that her room was a space that she could grow into, so that as she aged, the room would also be able to adapt to her older age. So now let's talk about what I've done in the living room. It is a new house, so I don't want to completely come in and do major renovations, but I do want to make this space my own. When you have a built home, you want it to be custom. You want it to feel like it is your space, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm not trying to rebuild and remodel the entire home, but I want it to feel like it's my space. I want it to look like me and not the builder. Like, I want you to walk into my space and say, yeah, that's Tisha's home, and not walk into a space and say, oh, that's the builder. Yeah, I've seen their work before. So when we get into the living room, again, right now it's been very subtle changes that I've done in that space as well. It was the first room that I completely furnished. However, none of the spaces in my home are done. So it's not, it may be furnished, but it's not completely designed and decorated yet. I'm trying to be smart when I'm buying things for this house. I feel like my last home, I just wanted to get things done and I would buy things and then I would fall out of love with them rather quickly. So in this space, I'm really taking my time, trying to make sure that whatever I buy to put in the home, to design it, to decorate the space, is something that I'm going to love and want to keep in my home, so it can be a staple piece, and it may be seasonally add things here and there. So I've really been taking my time with finding decor. So right now, the living room is the only room in the home that has all of its furnishings, but I had to change some things up. I installed 2 remote control wall sconces above my gallery wall. However, as you can see, I have yet to add pictures to their frames, except for the one picture that my mom had developed of Kylie's hand as a newborn. And that picture will most likely end up somewhere upstairs, like in our loft area. So let's move into the kitchen where we can discuss my love child. That is my kitchen island, as well as the beverage center, which you have been getting a little taste of in my past few videos, because part of it is behind me as my backdrop. I started this project while I was pregnant with my angel son, so it will always hold a deep place in my heart. I built the island from scratch using 4 base cabinets. I created the wood surround using plywood, 1x3s and 1x4s. The stain I use, which is what I use on all of the furniture or wood I stained in the house, is Minwax Cypress. I decided to match the countertop on the island and the beverage center with that same granite. I absolutely love the way that the island turned out. I have a picture of my angel baby sonogram on there. Some people plant trees. I have his picture on the island, and I don't know if that's where it's going to stay, but for now, that is my way of holding him in my heart and in my memory. For the beverage center, I knew I wanted floating shelves and a place to eventually move the microwave. So I added the shelves where they would be easy to adjust once that microwave switch happens. To make the shelves, I use 1 2x10x8 that I cut into 3 shelves. I finished the shelves by trimming them with a 1x2. I wanted to make sure the beverage center didn't look like an afterthought. So I decided to use a white cabinet for the upper to tie in with the rest of the kitchen, and the lower cabinets in a stained wood to match the island. The bar stools, like most of the wood furniture in the house, were unfinished that I stained, but I am one of those people who love for all of my wood tones to match. Contrary to what's on trend, I personally left my woods in my home to all, especially the woods that you can see from one room to the next, to all match or complement each other. And I definitely wanted my island to be the center point of the room, or the focal point of the island, and not my stools. So I love that they are the same color and they could just hide into the island and almost disappear where you don't see them. That way they are not taken away from my work of art. The last updates in the kitchen are the black knobs and pulls on the cabinets. Again, when I added the new cabinetry, I knew I would have to get additional hardware. The plan was always to use black, but I wanted 2 different styles. So I used knobs on the lower and pulls on the upper. Normally, I would have done it in the reverse, but I didn't want to have to drill 2 new holes on my drawers and try to patch up the hole that was already there. It was easier to just drill 1 hole in the uppers to add pulls and leave the lowers with knobs. I went with matte black in the kitchen as well to tie all of the finishes in the downstairs, keeping them consistent. I changed the faucet in the kitchen as well. It was much needed. The old faucet was the basic old school faucet with 2 turnspouts and a separate hose. Why in 2023 were builders still using that as their basics? I don't know. To cover up that extra hole in the granite, I added this cap that looks like the garbage disposal buttons that you may see now in newer kitchens. I also swapped out the chrome pendant lights for these cuter black and wood, more updated lights that I snagged for a deal at Walmart. So what's next? I'm unfortunately not done with any of the inside projects that I've started. Since we left off in the kitchen, let's start here with what still needs to be done. I need to add the crown molding to the top of the wall cabinet. I tried and failed several times trying to cut those angles for that crown molding. Oh my gosh, I've watched videos and followed steps precisely, still somehow managed to mess up the angle. So I'm gonna save that for a pro, or just wait because it's very expensive and I don't want to keep messing it up. Backsplash is one of my last projects to complete for my winter project, but I already have the towel waiting patiently for me in the garage, and then of course painting the walls white and adding in the small bit of baseboard where I installed the cabinets for the beverage center. My dining room will be my next space to tackle. For now, that just includes staining the chairs, assembling and staining the table, and creating my DIY buffet cabinet slash hutch. I've also already swapped out the lighting from the chrome builder's grade to a more modern matte black chandelier. Other than that, I'm at a complete blank for what to do in the dining room. I upgraded when building by adding in the coffered ceilings, and I don't want a wooden feature wall to take away from that. I also don't want it to seem like there's just too much wood detail design going on in that space. So I'm just kind of stuck with what to do to make the room feel more custom and not just have blah walls in there, I guess I should say. So I'm trying to just wait it out, live in a space a little bit longer. It hasn't even been a year yet before I do any more projects in the dining room that will be semi-permanent things to do in there. So we'll see. Maybe in the next year or two, something will come to me. And then at some point, the walls in the dining room as well as the living room will be painted white. Once I'm done with the dining room, I am going to move to the entryway. So in that space, I know that I am going to add board and batten. I love it. I loved having it in my old home and I miss it. So I already know what I have planned for in the entryway as far as doing the board and batten detail. I'll probably do a video of that transformation as well as one for the dining room. So make sure that you are subscribed so you can tag along to see that journey. And then in the living room, the only additional thing that I'm going to do now is swap out the builder's grade ceiling fan that they gave us, and of course keeping it consistent with the lighting downstairs, switch it out for a matte black ceiling fan that I already have and just need to install. I do want to take that ceiling fan that's in the living room now and put it upstairs in a loft area. That way that room will also have a ceiling fan in that space. I do want to upgrade the fireplace or update the fireplace at some point. Again, I'm going to live in a space a little bit longer. I do know that the design that I used in my old house is an influence on what I want to do in this house. I loved creating that fireplace around in my own home. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. The only difference in this space is instead of having the white mantle, I would use a stained wood mantle to break up from some of that white in the living room. But that will, I don't know if it's going to be the end of this year or next year. That will be a project later on to come. And eventually my TV will be hung on the wall, so that's something else that needs to get done. And then my TV cabinet, I don't really love it. So that was one of the rush decisions that I made with furnishing the living room. Like I said, it's the only room that's completely furnished. And once I got that TV cabinet, it kind of helped me to just stop and put things on hold, because I realized I'm buying things I don't like because I need them. I get that I need it, but I'd rather wait to find something that I actually love or even like to go into the home. That TV stand looked much taller online in the pictures than it is. And we have extremely high ceilings in this home, so it just looks extremely low to the ground. And I also think I want a black TV stand. So before I rush into that decision, I'm gonna live in a space a little bit longer, see what I can find, make sure that I find something that I actually love, and then I will replace it. For the guest bathroom, it's pretty much done. I need to go in and change out the sink stopper because it's still the one that came with the house. It's not the one that matches the faucet that was replaced in there. And I also need to touch up some of the paint where the painter's tape peeled the paint off of the wall. We have 10-foot ceilings, so I ordered the extra long shower curtain. Well, it looked weird being that high up, so I lowered it and cut off the excess. I will probably just use an iron-on hem or see if my mom will hem it for me. That way that can be finished off. And then I will be done with the guest bathroom. So that is it for my winter projects. Of course, I will finish off my daughter's bedroom before her 2nd birthday, but that'll just be adding decorative features. Most of the updating part is actually done. This spring I would love to take a break from home project, but I still want to do my office space and my loft area, so that break will have to wait. Oh, and I need to finish out my bedroom, which has been another challenging room for me to try to design and decorate. And I would love to have those 3 spaces done before the summer. So those 3 will probably be my main spring projects. This summer I will try to tackle the garage, maybe some outdoor project, and then relax. But like I said, these winter projects need to be done before Kylie turns 2. We're having her 2nd birthday party the end of March. So I have a lot of work to do. If you made it this far, thanks so much for hanging with me at home. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what project ideas you have for your home. And I hope you were able to get some inspiration from this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I would love to have you at home with me. And I will see you all real soon in a new video. Bye.
Appalachian sunrise meets my